In a world torn by wars and uncertainty, one voice dares to speak for peace.
This war must end now.
At the United Nations, the Vatican once again reminded the world of its moral duty, a duty to end conflict, a duty to protect the innocent, and a duty to build a just and lasting peace. This is not just politics, it is the Catholic Church, standing in the heart of world diplomacy. Archbishop Paul Richard Gallagher, Secretary for Relations with States of the Holy See, stood before the Assembly of Nations. His message was clear. The United Nations must return to its founding mission to defend human rights, promote peace, and safeguard our shared humanity.
Mr. President, the theme chosen for this year's general debate, Better Together, 80 Years and More for Peace, Development and Human Rights, highlights the ongoing importance of multilateral cooperation in addressing global issues. This is particularly pertinent this year, as the international community commemorates the establishment of the United Nations in 1945. It is an opportune moment to reaffirm the organization's core values of fostering international peace, development, and universal human rights, values that are all the more important in an increasingly fragmented world.
But then came the strongest words. On Ukraine, Gallagher painted a picture of children robbed of their childhood, of cities reduced to rubble.
Mr. President, of the many crises currently affecting the international community, the war in Ukraine is one of the most profound and painful. Its prolonged existence is turning once vibrant cities into piles of rubble and extinguishing the smiles of children who should be growing up playing games instead of living amid the constant sound of sirens and in shelters.
And he declared,
"This war must end now." The Holy See renews the appeal made by Pope Leo XIV for an immediate ceasefire, which will pave the way for sincere and courageous dialogue.
From there, his attention turned to the Middle East, to the land that Christians, Jews, and Muslims alike call holy. The Holy See repeated its conviction. Only a two-state solution, grounded in international law, can bring a just and lasting peace between Israel and Palestine.
The Holy See is paying close attention to the situation in the Middle East with a view to achieving a just and lasting peace between Israel and Palestine based on a two-state solution in accordance with international law and all relevant United Nations resolutions.
And on Jerusalem, the Archbishop was unambiguous.
Moreover, an equitable solution to the issue of Jerusalem based on international resolutions is essential for achieving a just and permanent peace. Any unilateral decision or action which alters the special status of Jerusalem and the status quo is morally and legally unacceptable.
Any unilateral action that changes the city's special status is, in his words, morally and legally unacceptable. This was more than diplomacy. It was the Catholic Church speaking with a prophetic voice, reminding the nations that every person is created in the image and likeness of God, and that peace will only come when dialogue triumphs over violence, and when justice walks hand in hand with truth.
As representatives of all the nations of the globe, we are united by our shared humanity, created in the image and likeness of God, called to live in fraternity, solidarity, and mutual respect.
At the close, Archbishop Gallagher urged the world not to forget the principles on which the United Nations was founded: human rights, peace, sustainable development, and the rule of law. These, he said, are not optional. They are the pillars of hope in a fractured world.
The Holy See calls for a recommitment to the original principles enshrined in the UN Charter. It is important to resist the temptation to replace these foundational commitments with new ideas or programs that risk diluting the UN's mission. Central to this mission is striking a balance between the four pillars of the United Nations: promoting of human rights, maintaining international peace and security, achieving sustainable development and upholding rule of law.
This speech is more than history. It is a challenge for us today to believe that faith has a voice in global affairs and that the Church still calls leaders to choose peace over destruction. If you believe that the gospel still speaks to the heart of our world, subscribe to Catholic Snack. Join us as we discover where faith meets history and where the Church continues to be a beacon of peace.